This is a short introduction to Webdesign Project 12 and also a brief tutorial on how to create the masks for the images used in the project. So Project 12 is available now for RapidWeaver with Stacks 3.5 in Foundation and Foundry versions. Here's the problem we all are faced with. We can't choose pictures, our customer can't choose the right pictures, or they don't know what to use. So here's a technique that works really well, I think. You basically take pictures which aren't that good, are not good enough on their own, and you apply a shape to them, which makes them much more interesting. In this case, the shape that we're adding is a sort of rounded, six-sided shape, matches the logo of this company. So there's a nice corporate kind of theme running throughout based on the images. Now these images don't really mean anything. This is a general business type, flexible, adaptable website for a kind of communication high-tech company, but this image here has really nothing to do with it. But if you can take this image and chop it up into little pieces, you can use parts of this image throughout the whole thing. So these kind of long exposure images of car taillights and headlights I think work much better. Without the shaping of these images, this just wouldn't work. So it's a great way of using images that just aren't really that good on their own, but shape them. You can not only make them look much more interesting, but you can give it a kind of strong corporate identity and match other shapes within it. So how are these created? I'm going to switch now into Autodesk Graphic, which is a vector drawing package, very good package, available for iPad as well. You could use Adobe Illustrator or Affinity or Sketch. There's many of these, but they all have the same type of functionality for what we're doing here. Ignore everything on the screen here, just concentrate on this square in the middle. This is a new document I've created. It's 300 by 300 pixels, which is an ideal size for images that will remain the same size on mobile devices. So I'm now going to create a background image. This is going to form the mask. We can make it whatever color we want. White, very flexible, but this is the point at which you would match the background of the part of the website that you're going to add your mask to. So how do we do this? This is the first part of the mask. I'm now going to create another image on here, and I'm going to make a very simple image. This is a sort of oval image, and this just happens to be what I want to create for this kind of, but it can be any shape you want. You can make multiple shapes, and the concept of this is using the functionality that's available in all these type of graphics packages, that you can modify shapes by adding to them or subtracting from them. So in this case, I'm going to select the background and the image we've just created there. I've selected them both, and I'm going to go to modify, and I'm going to do subtract. And there's the magic. So we've now removed this oval shape from our mask, and effectively this mask is now complete. You can just save it as a PNG, optimize it if you want, but they're quite small images. And you will see the effect if we now put an image underneath it. So now we've taken what was admittedly a good image, but not nearly as interesting as it is once you start to add a shape to it. And we can add different types of shapes. This is the main one used in the project, this sort of rounded six-sided hexagon, which works well. I just need to bring that to the front so that we see the effect of it. And there we have it. Now there's some other things you can do. Let me just remove that image inside it for a second. So I'm going to pull that image out. If I drop this image in, this image is not quite so good because it has a white background. So if we put that image in here, you can see it doesn't really define this side of the shape. So what you can do is you can make an additional mask, and here I've created a circle, same size as the mask, which has a graduated fill. And there we are. It makes a much more interesting picture out of one that has a sort of light background and doesn't really define the shape. So there's a couple of techniques there for creating your own mask. If you know what you're doing, this is a matter of minutes to create what you want. If you don't know how to do this, this is a skill set you should really spend a bit of time, doesn't take long, to learn how to do, as it will really come in handy. In the project, just cutting back to the project here, works very well with images of people, sort of about us type pages. A lot more interesting than having a round image, and much more interesting than having just a square image, I think. These are some of the masks that are included with the project. These are just a selection to get you going and give you some ideas and see what you can make of them. This one has an additional mask, an extra mask created around it. It's all one piece, and there's also some text in there, so you can put whatever you want. In the project there's one with numbers, and you can get some quite creative masks to do all sorts of interesting looking things. So there we have it. Those are the ones included with the project. General purpose, flexible sort of business type application, ready to go. Put your own images in there and get you up and running really quickly. So Web Design Project 12 available now.